this over. All right, so we are live, and I hope that my mic is working. I think it is. Oops. So I am a bit tired, but I'm gonna power through this because we have a project to finish. So yesterday, if I can, let me just get rid of some stuff. Firefox, namely. Boom, boom, boom. So we are going to continue on with our API, right? So yesterday I left you in a bit of a pickle. If you recall, we were trying to create a response handler. We were sort of struggling with the formatting output. Turns out my brain was just not cooperating, but I ended up getting a piece of code, a sample of code that I'd written for a previous project, and so I did a bit of work off stream. Let me show you. So we had utils.response, right? With its own sort of, so we had this struct object, so added an error field and a data field, and that's going to be of type interface, right? And then I've added sort of methods, so for server error not found, not implemented, and method not allowed. We will look into that shortly. And then I've got this send function that essentially just takes the body, turns it into JSON, and then sends it back, right? Which is good. And so everything works. So if we curl really quickly, we should get a response. Yes, we do. Good. So that's great. But hang on, let me just fix the audio. Which one is it? Is it this one? Okay, so I'm getting echo. Let's see. Oh, all right. It's a bit too loud. Yeah, the music is definitely too loud. Oh, okay. Give me a second. Let me actually change it back to something like this, maybe. All right. Monitor off. And so now, hopefully, we should be good. So, what was I saying? Yeah, so we created a response. So I created the response handler, which works now. And then I created a very basic naive router. Again, let me show you. So it's a very basic router, and this is going to be called inside the main.go file, right? Like this. Cleaned up everything. It's essentially just a function that takes the context and then the request, and it returns sort of a response. So we switch on the path, the request.path, because again, if you recall, what we really need from what we need is the resource and the HTTP method, right? So these are the fields that we need. These two, right? Resource and HTTP method on top of the path parameters. So for example, if we get like, because we're gonna have something like this, right? Well then this is what's gonna be passed to us. So yeah, so I tried to initially my plan was, and if I can quit out of this, because right now we're on master, but if I quickly check out to, ooh, hello, do I have unsaved changes? Yes, I do. Let me git stash real quick, and let's just check out to router, right? And hopefully if I open a file, you will see something else entirely. And the idea for this was to sort of mimic the router that's on GoFiber, right? In fact, I shamelessly looked at their code base, and more specifically app.io, and I think they had a config somewhere. Yep, that's the one, config, and then if we scroll down, blah blah blah, let's actually search for git routes. Yep, if we scroll down a bit, app.use, app.get, right? And so the idea was to have something like this where you could essentially create a router object, right? So initiate a new router object like so, with the new router, which would then return a pointer to router config, which would hold the context in the event, and then you would have sort of something like this, right? Oops. You do router equals new router, and then you'd pass it a config, and then you would sort of register the routes, like router.root, and then you pass the method, the path, and the handler. But I was having trouble with in the main function. If we look at the main function, essentially what it does is it executes this function, right? But then the handler must absolutely return an API gateway response. But if we do it that way, then only the first method is going to be called, right? So we needed a way to invoke the functions or the handlers based on the path. I think it's going to be a good exercise for a good idea for a project, how to create a Lambda router. But for now, git diff, yeah, git checkout, and then we'll go back to master, and we'll stash pop. Alright, in fact, let me just commit right now. I shouldn't commit directly on master, but what the hell. I'm gonna do git commit added naive router. Well, realistically, we don't need to do much more than this, because we're never gonna have post requests. But I'm thinking, just to future-proof it, maybe we will. Where is it? Just to future-proof it, if we ever decide to add you know, other routes and other paths and stuff like that, we'll be able to do that. So, but at the minute, I only do only got this function that processes the request, so it works. And so the plan for tonight, stream.md, the plan for tonight is going to be essentially to create a handler for lyrics.random, lyrics/random, and lyrics/id. So we're going to create two. First, we're going to test that they work. So we'll do something like this. But instead of doing this and doing this, what we will do is we will return events API gateway proxy response. The body is going to be hey from random. The status code is going to be 200. I guess a better way to do that would be http .status. Okay, whoops. Like so, and then we'll do the same over here. We'll comment this out, and then from hello blah. And in fact, let me fmt.sprintf, whoops, sprintf. And we will say you are looking for lyrics with ID, and then we'll do s whoops, lyric ID, like so. And so we'll build, and hopefully it does, so great. We'll deploy now. So deploy. I really hope the sound is that if you can hear me correctly, I hope the sound is working as intended. Deploy this change set. Yes, absolutely. We want to. And yeah, the hoodie is on because it's bad hair day. Okay, so it's uploaded and deployed. So now we're not returning JSON, so we're just returning a string. So what we'll do is we will curl lyrics/random and see if we actually get a response. Okay, hey from random, and if I go 3, huh? So we need to oh, it's the path. I don't care about the path, I care about the resource. Huh. So we'll build again and redeploy. Now thankfully this is quick, so we don't have to worry about sitting there for too long. yes, we want to deploy it. I think it failed because essentially if we go back to the event, what's going on? I just want to show you if we go back to the event.json. So as you can see, the path and the resource is the same, but this resource matches the one we have in the template, right? So in our case, it's lyrics/id, and so the reason why it wasn't working initially is because we were not testing against the resource, we were testing against the actual path that we passed, and so we hit the default response not implemented. So that's the reason. So now let's try it again. Boom. Now it works. You see, you're looking for lyrics with ID 32. Brilliant. Okay, so now we are hitting the correct endpoints, which is good. So we're gonna have to get to work, I guess. Let me check something real quick. And is it working? Yes. Okay, good. Blah 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 blah. We don't care about the test for now. This is the response. We don't care about that. We don't care about main. So we're gonna have to create a file under controllers. Oops. Touch API controllers. So at the minute we have get all lyrics, so we'll have one file per function. And this is gonna be get random lyrics.go. I'm not sure if I should use the singular. Whatever. We'll go with this. Okay, no, we're gonna go in here. Open the file. Get random lyrics.go. And to the left, we will open this one. All right, so package controllers. And then we'll have func called get random lyrics, which is going to take a context of type context context dot context, yeah. And then I guess params. Yeah, so params is going to be a pointer to a string, because not every route requires path parameter. And I did this because I didn't really want to pass the request around, so we'll do it inside the router instead. So we will extract the lyric ID here instead of doing it inside the controller function. And I pass a pointer to a string so that I can do this, right? So that I can say nil instead of having to pass an empty string. All right, and this, of course, returns. What does it return? It returns an events.api gateway response. Events.api gateway proxy response, right? So we're good. And so we will return block for now. All right, so well, we are going to need lyric, so we'll do lyric models dot lyric like this. What else are we going to need? Response, of course. So res is going to be utils dot response, like so. And for the random, well, we can essentially just copy and paste this whole thing, right? but instead of essentially we'll pull all the lyrics from the database, and then second we will essentially extract a random item from that list between 1 and the max length of the result. Right, so let's do this. Right. Okay, good. And then here, because I believe this is, so this is lyric.getAll. So it does return a list of lyrics. Okay. So now we need to generate a random number. Generate random number, go. All right, so let's see. Min max, okay. How it works. In the first line of the main function, we set C to initialize pseudo-random number generator. The default math rand is deterministic, so we'll get the same output sequence for the same seed value. You can check this by removing the first line of the main function. Blah blah blah. We'll always get the same random numbers. It's because the algorithm produces new values. Blah blah blue. Okay. Well, I guess we'll do this. Let's see if we can actually do that. So set the seed. There's going to be step 0. Set the seed. Right. Okay. And then from here, what we want to do is we want to go to helpers, and we want to do rand int. Actually, we'll copy and paste this. Nope, that's random float. There we go. Random int. Like this. There we go. Okay. And so we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this. We don't need that. Where are we? We don't need this. We no longer need this. All right, so. So now we will have to, I guess, get a random lyric. That's going to be, let's actually call it L. And this is going to be, how do you even address, hang on, how do you index a slice and go? Wow, would you look at that? Oh yeah, of course. Ugh, stupid. It's stupid. So we'll do lyrics of rand int. Actually, let's call it index. And now index is going to be rand int rand. Okay, it's going to be helpers. Oh no, it's utils dot rand int, right? Utils dot rand int, and that's going to be 0. And I believe, is it len? Yeah. Length of lyrics. Okay. And now our random lyric is going to be, well, lyrics at that index. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to essentially set the response, right? So I'll do res.data is going to be random lyric, and then I'll do res.ok. Oops. Res.ok, like so. Okay, and so if we go back to the router, instead of doing this, we will return, oops, hello, we will return, what are we going to return? We are going to return controllers dot get random lyrics. We'll pass the ctx and nil. I don't like this pattern, to be honest, but we'll worry about refactoring and architecture after that. First we need to sort of ship it, right? Get it out the door, get it working to a reasonable, get it to a reasonable working state, and then we'll figure out the implementation details and how to optimize and stuff like that, how to optimize the code and clean it up. Okay, so we'll build. Again, let's clear and make. And it builds successfully, thank God. So now we can self deploy. Yes, we want to deploy the change set. Does it still work if I do this? No. Okay. It's a bit of a shame, to be honest, so let me just swap them like that. Kind of want to do this. Yeah. Okay, so the moment of truth, right? We'll go back, and now hopefully this should return a random. This should return a random lyric in a nice, nicely formatted object. So we'll pipe that to JQ for formatting, and we'll see. So 3, 2, 1. I can guarantee you that this is going to crash for whatever reason, but hey, you know. And it did not. Wow. Okay. Well, I will let you. I am not going to read this out loud. Let's try that again, because we had ID 8. All right. I'm hungry for cheese like hungry hippo. This is top tier literature. I mean, you can see that most of them, from what I've noticed, looking at the final lyrics.txt file, most of the rappers. I mean, we have two big contributors to this list. It's Lil Wayne and not Pusha T. What's his name? 2 Chainz, right? This one is great. It's kind of hard to imagine, like Kanye West coming back from his fatal accident to beat making rapping. Well, you don't come back from a fatal accident. That's the point of a fatal accident. You don't come back from it. So yeah. So anyway, this works. So we're good. Moving on. Actually, let's update the stream.md. Our stream.md. So we've done this. We've created a handler for lyrics / lyrics / random. We're going to do the same thing for lyrics ID. Then we will move on to creating a CI/CD pipeline. We will probably set up logging. We'll add integration tests. We'll do that after. I think we'll do that last, because I need to figure out how to do this. And then paginate results from scan. Maybe we'll paginate. I don't know. I honestly don't expect this list to be any longer than what it already is. But I think it's going to be a good exercise, just in learning about DynamoDB and how it works under the hood. So deploy the front end. So this is going to be very easy. In fact, we'll have to set up DNS to Route 53, which is essentially going to be the only thing we're going to have to pay for, because we're going to need much more than that. I think it's 50p or 50 cent a month for a DNS zone, which isn't much, to be honest. And I mean, the entire backend is going to be hosted for free forever, because it's part of the always free tier. So okay, let's move on now to the get lyrics by ID. Right, so we'll again go through. Actually, let's first let's commit. Right, so we'll git add, git commit m, created, I guess finished. No, yeah, finished. Get random lyrics controller. Git push origin master. Okay, good. So now we're gonna have to create the file. So let's do touch API controllers, get lyrics by ID .go. There we go. Okay, let's open that file. Before we do, let's quit out of this, quit out of this, quit out of this too, and quit out of this. So get lyrics by ID, that's the one. And again, package controllers. So we'll create a func called get lyrics by ID. It's going to take context of type context.ctx, not ctx of type context.context, and of course param, which is not really the should be called request params actually. Request methods. Request rec params, and it's going to be pointed to a string, and it is going to return an events dot API gateway proxy response. And we'll just do the whole return thing like so. Okay, so again, so what do we need to do now? We need to we're gonna need to add a get by ID method to this, right? Oops, not like that. So first we need to create this method. So we'll go func. Actually, let's do math. No, let's not do math. Let's. You definitely don't want to do that. It's lyric, right? Oops. God, lyric. Okay. You know what? Giving up. Of type lyric, right? The method name is going to be get by ID. It's going to take the context, I suppose. The context type context, and the DB of type db.config, and it's going to return either it's going to return lyric, right, or an error. Okay, and so let's return I don't know, lyric and nil for now. So var L, should we create one, or should we marshal it into L? I don't know if it's actually a good pattern. Is it a good pattern? All right, whatever. We'll just do this. We'll make a note. Should we unmarshal the result into lyric or create a new instance like we are doing below? This is a very good question. I need a longer mic stand because I'm trying to speak into the microphone and I'm crouched forward. And I don't have the best chair either. Ooh. But I'm doing this for the views, so you know what? I'm gonna have to power through it. Okay, so we create the lyric, and then I think similar to what we do here, we're getting the query input, but instead of doing scan, we're gonna have to, I guess, do a, let's see what's available, db.client dot get item. Right, so get item takes the context, much like scan. It takes the query input of type DynamoDB get item input, so it's a pointer, and then optional funcs. Okay. All right. So we're going to need the query input, and that's going to be a pointer to a reference to DynamoDB.query actually, is it query input? Yeah, it was query input, was it? Let's try that again. db.client.getItem. Oh boy. db.client.getItem. And yeah, so it's DynamoDB get item in. Oh no, it's get item input. Right. So get item input. That's the one. All right. So what does it take? It takes table name, the attributes to get as a list of string, consistent read, that's for concurrency, expression attributes, projection expression. I think this is to filter, right? So if you want to filter based on certain fields, we're not going to do that. And then you can return a consume capacity. We're not going to be worried about that too much. So all right, so we'll go back. So we'll do table name. The key members required. A map of this member is required. Oh, this is a legacy parameter. Use projection expression instead. Okay, so we don't need this, but we definitely need the key, and which is going to be a map of string to attribute value, and the table name. Okay. So, nope. Where are we? Nope. Hang on. Let's focus. There we go. All right. So we're gonna have the table name. That's going to be db.table name, but then we need a key, right? And I'm not too sure about the syntax, so we'll go DynamoDB go SDK, listing, reading an Amazon DynamoDB table item. Okay, so we initialize a session, blah. But do we need this though? Call get item to get the item if we encounter an error, otherwise there's no information about the item. Because we haven't used the key thing in previously for the scan, so I'm a bit confused. Map string of this. No, because we wanted to get by ID, right? Let's go back. Let's do DynamoDB SDK cheat sheet. I think we had the cheat sheet yesterday, right? Didn't we? Yeah, Dynamo base, whatever, dynobase.dev. That's the one. All right, so get item. Yeah, get item. That's the one. Okay. All right, so it's the same thing. Fine. So we'll do key, and the key is a map of string to types. Let's actually That's the one. All right. And so ours was ID, and the value. Wow, that does not look like what we had. Let's do AWS. Nope. DynamoDB, Golang SDK. Let's just pop back into DynamoDB attribute value. Yeah, so this is what they used. ID. Yeah, number, and then okay, so it's the type. So you got the, hang on. Yeah, so ID, and that's going to be an object. It's a bit weird, but okay. And then you'd have like AWS dot what? That's not a string, is it? Is it number? Can we do number? No. Can we do string? Alright, it's a string, I guess. String, and that is going to be well, it's going to take that, and it's going to take an ID too, of course. So ID is a string, right? Well, I guess the lyric ID. I wonder if we can modify the context object and then add stuff to it, so that we don't have to pass everything down like that. Actually, I wonder if we can do that, but whatever, we'll do lyric ID like so. Okay. Types. What do you mean types? All right. Invalid composite literal. Oh god. All right. So maybe it is true that it's types dot attribute value member. So types dot attribute value member. Attribute value member S. But it's not S, it's N because it's a number. And then the value is going to be AWS dot number. Was it uint? Is it int? Yeah. Dot int. Right. Oh no, actually it's a string. Oh, that's a bit of a problem, because we're passing a string, but our ID is set as a number, so we need to convert this to a number first. All right, so lyric ID. Fine. What do you mean cannot use? Yeah, that's because it's not an int. I get it. What? Cannot use value. Cannot use value as string value in struct literal. Hey Formal, how you doing? Oh, you're unit testing now? At this time? AWS.int. Cannot use value of type pointer to int. Oh, you got tomorrow off. Ooh, brilliant. Are you going to be watching? Actually, I haven't kept up. What's going on with the football tonight? Let's see. Ooh. Let's keep an eye on Chelsea for the fun of it. We will keep that here. So the value should be. Alright, you know what? We'll forget about aws.int nonsense. We'll just do 1. Cannot use 1 untyped int constant as string. Oh my god! But it's not a string value. So what do you want about? Cannot use 1 untyped int constant as string value in struct literal. Is it an untyped int? Alright, let's do aws.int. To int, points to int. Let's try that. No, let's do lyric ID then. No. What in the bananas is this? Okay, attribute value, blah blah blah. Great. Attribute value member n. Are we even talking about an attribute of type number, for example, and numbers are sent across a network to DynamoDB as strings to maximize compatibility across languages libraries. However, DynamoDB treats them as number type attributes for mathematical operations. Oh, so we don't actually need to pass. Okay, so we don't need this. We can just do string then, right? We can just do this and do value is aws dot string. Oh, it was a pointer to a string. Okay, and then a string, and then lyric ID. Yeah. All right. So we've got the query input. Great. So now if we go back, well now we okay. So now we need to do get item. Okay. So we've got get item, and now we're going to do get item input. So how did we handle this here? Call scan against the DB. So now we're going to do first one create the query input. 2, we'll do call scan against no, not scan. Call get item against the DB, which we're going to do now, and this returns a result and an error, like so. Result an error. So this is going to be db.client.getItem, where we pass the context and we pass the query input like so. Okay. So now if we get an error, so if error is not equal to nil, if error is not equal to nil, what do? We return nil and error. Do we not return a lyric? Oh, so we need to. Moving all old tests over to a new version, but I'm so tired. I am too. I mean, I don't know what's going on, like, but these days, man, I just crash, like, just after coming home. Like, I usually come back home at 6 or half 6, and I just crash. Boom! I have dinner, and I can can barely do anything. What is it, JavaScript you working on? So we're gonna have to do this. So empty lyric and then error. Oh, C#, okay. .NET, I suppose. Okay. So now we need to unmarshal it. Right, so we'll do unmarshal result. Again, it says error. So error equals unmarshal. So okay, unmarshal. And what does it take? I think it takes the result, the item, right? And well, the actual lyrics. Is it L? Yep. I have to put some TV on or something. Yeah, it's good to have background. It's good to have background, especially when you want to do, especially when you have to do something you absolutely don't want to do. You definitely want to have some background noise, background music, whatever. What works for me is podcasts. When I really don't want to do something, I just put on a podcast and I just crack on with it. Or I watch Sky Sports. But unfortunately, most of the content they put out on YouTube is not available outside of the UK, so it's a bit of a problem. Okay. Ooh, drum and, you want to do drum and bass at this time? At 9 o'clock at night? And when you're tired? But you have tomorrow off, so I guess you could. I guess you get a pass. It also depends on your relationship with your neighbors, I suppose. And so it's L, yeah, it's L. Right, again, so if error is not equal to nil, we will again return lyric and error. Oh, noise cancelling headphones. I don't have those. I was debating whether or not I should get the AirPods Pro 2, because apparently they're very, very, very good at this. And I've heard that they're so good that some people, they wear them without even listening to music, because they're just so good at sort of cancelling the noise outside. And they're not so good as to not sort of, they don't cover, let's say, sirens or extremely loud noises. So you can still be aware of your environment, but it tunes out all the rest of the. Yeah, it's I actually do this too with my OnePlus Buds, but they're very bad. But at least you can sort of and tune out the noise. And people don't come talk to you, yeah, especially in public transport. I may not look it, but I'm a very introverted guy. So we don't want a marshal list of maps. Hey, Avinash, how you doing? I'm doing good, thank you. I'm working on some DevOps / programming stuff at the minute. I hope you're doing all right. We're just chatting at the minute. So attributes. And then we return the lyrics. Oh yeah, okay, so we just return the lyric then. Yeah, of course, because if the error is nil, then we just simply have to return the lyric. So we return L and nil, like that. What? To add missing requirement, run. I suppose it wants me to run go mod tidy. Is that what it wants me to do? Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's see. So we had get lyrics by ID. Yep. Okay. So now, what do? We create lyric. Yeah, we create a lyric. Do you know what? I think I'm not gonna. They're gonna refactor this at some point because I don't like to have. I don't want to have to create a lyric for just to pull stuff out of the database. Seems like overkill. We'll create a response too. So var res equals utils dot response, like that. So pull the lyrics object out of the DB. In fact, this is going to be the lyric ID. So L the club not used and res the club not used. Okay. So now we'll do lyric error is going to be l.get all ctx. So we'll pass the context, we'll pass the DB, and then we'll pass the lyric ID. What? Too many argument? What? Yeah, it's because it's not get all, it's get by ID. Should we do this? Yes. Nope. It's a pointer to a string, which means we need to do this, like that. Okay. All right. So it stops screaming. So now, if the error is not equal to null, we'll get an error message. So we'll do. Actually, let's just copy this. Right. Okay. And then we will. Should we marshal? Actually, we don't need to do this. What am I doing? We don't need to do this. So we don't need to marshal anything to JSON now. We'll just set res.data, because if we don't get an error, that means we have a lyrics object. So now we can just do res.data equals lyric. And then we can return res. Oops. Res.ok. Like so. And then I guess set the lyrics object on the response. Okay. So get lyrics by ID. Yeah, so you create a lyric and then you do this, but in this case it doesn't really make much sense. We could just have the function, sort of a function called get all lyrics or get lyrics by ID. Instead of attaching them to the lyrics struct. I don't know. We will see. We will see. But for now, let's build. No targets, of course. It's gonna crash. Yeah, it failed for whatever reason. So, and the problem is cracking out whiskey and whacking some tunes out. That's the. Alright, formal. Have fun, man. Go easy on the go easy on the whiskey. So build failed. And the problem is it doesn't tell us why. Okay, let's try and trace it back. Actually, we haven't even registered the thing. So let's do get by ID, get loads by ID, right? Like that. Undeclared name. Oops. We'll rename this to get lyrics by ID, like so. And then, oops. Let me fix the camera. No, I don't like it like that. I'll just do this. Oops. This is all new to me. Let's try it. Let's try it like this. Yeah, it failed for whatever reason. We're not getting. It's not very helpful. So what's going on here? Yeah, definitely, because essentially I'm learning as I'm doing. So I'm gonna have to. I'm probably gonna look at this code in a few weeks and think to myself, wow, how could I have allowed myself to write this? Hang on. Alright, so it's nothing to do with the response. It's nothing to do with this. Oh, we have an issue. Variable of type string. Oh, okay. Can we do this then? Nope. I think there's something in where you can do that, right? No, hang on. Which one is it? Is it this? No. Okay, so get by ID is points to a string, right? And then we need to turn this into a string. So aws.string. What does it take? Oh, it takes a string and it returns. Okay, it takes a string and it returns a pointer to a string. Wow. All right. Well. Oh, like this. Yeah, and then we have to do this, right? So, like that. Oh, hello. Oh, you are a genius. Do you work at Google? Okay, so this works, but we are making an error elsewhere. So maybe if we trace our steps back. Okay, so we come here, we hit this case, we pull the ID from the parameter, and we pass to the controller, right? So we arrive here. At that point, we pass, is it this? I think so. Nope. Okay, get by ID takes a pointer to a string. Okay, so let's okay, so this takes a pointer to a string, which means we're not passing a pointer here, are we? Are we though? No, yes, we are passing a pointer. So we are passing a pointer here, which is, so we're good, right? Again, we come up here. So this is still a pointer to a string, right? So we pass it down here, like that. And then here, again, we pass a pointer to a string, and then we do this magic. What am I missing? Well, first let's try to do this. Is this the controllers? Yeah, let's try to do that. We'll comment this. We'll comment that too. And then we'll try and build again just to see. Oops. Yeah. What I've noticed is that if the code is wrong, this fails, and when I fix the code, it passes. But yeah, I can't see how this could be an error with the code, right? Because we fixed every error. I mean, the linter isn't telling us anything about the code. So I had a similar issue off stream where I would have an error in the code, and it would just say build failed, but it wouldn't tell us why. Did I mess up something in the template? Maybe. Nope. Yeah, let me actually do that. Oh, yeah, have to be an API. So go run main.py, main.go. Oh, hello. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's the problem with Go, sort of cannot use result.item as type attribute value and argument to attribute value that unmarshal. So where are we? So it's definitely in here, right? Okay, so result.item. So what is it saying? Lyrics.go 2910. So let's go 29. Okay, so we have a problem with this. As type, blah blah blah, and map literal. Attribute value member S does not implement the attribute value. Is attribute value method as pointer receiver. Alright, so cannot use result.item. Oh yeah, so this fails because this fails. Okay. So it's definitely an issue with this. So let's go back here. So the value must be a string. Fine. So you know what? how can we, is there a way to turn a pointer to a string to an actual string? Can we do this? Like, can we do var, I don't know, s of type string? Can we do this and then say it's lyric ID like that? Okay, no. Is it this? No, is it this? Well, yeah. I mean, this is exactly the same thing as what we did. Okay, let me just do 1. Let's say 1. Just for the fun of it. And then go run again. The reason why I did this is because it's really for cosmetic reasons, really, if I show you. Because here, I didn't really want to have to pass an empty string like that, because the path parameters is only available here, right? So I didn't really want to have sort of I wanted to pass nil instead of an empty string to get all lyrics. Oh, but actually I don't have to. I'm stupid. I am absolutely stupid, because in that case, because we don't need the params. Oh yeah, I remember now why I did this, because I was working on my own router, and so now I'm just doing a very naive implementation. So because we don't use the params and they're optional, then you are absolutely correct in that then we will just take a string instead, like so. So this is going to be string, and this is also going to be a string, right? So aws dot string of lyric ID. Okay, great. This is good, and of course now cannot use result dot, hang on, in map literal, or maybe we completely messed up the syntax of the get input call. Did we? Types the attribute. Maybe I messed up somewhere. Let's see. I didn't use this. I used that one. So it's types the attribute value, map string types attribute value, and then you pass in the actual type. Oh, it's a pointer. Okay, so this first arrow disappeared, so now we're left with this. Cannot use result item, blah blah blah. Okay, so what now? What now? DynamoDB attribute, the unmarshal map. Okay. Oh, but it's not attribute value, it's DynamoDB attribute. It's hello. It's Dynamo Wait, why do I not have DynamoDB attribute? What's going on? I have it here, don't I? That is a bit weird. Let me do this. Dot unmarshal, and I will do result dot item, and I'll pass L. Undeclared name. Let's see. Oh, but that's the oh god, what am I doing? This is not the correct version. That's V1, man. Give me V2. Ugh. Okay, Golang, DynamoDB. No, actually, it's DynamoDB. Yeah, SDK. V2. Wow. There we go. Get an item from table. Okay. So get item. We pass the context, then we get the item. Blah blah blah. Okay. Table name. And so the key. Oh, we can just pass the ID like that. So we don't have to do this. No. Hang on, what? So they get item key movie.get key. Yeah, and then you do this. So you've got a movie, title, year, blah, 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 and then get key. Okay. So this is exactly what we have. So it's not DynamoDB attribute, it's attribute value, the unmarshal. And then you pass it the AV, so type attribute value, and out the interface. And so apparently this is not a type attribute value for whatever reason. Let's see, result.item. Oh, the result.item, it's failing at unmarshalling. So the query input we fixed. Thank you very much for your help. And I believe this is because this is a map of string to types attribute value, whereas unmarshal is looking at just the types of attribute value. And I believe I ran into this problem in my earlier project. So let me pull was no face, no case. These are my dot files. Let me check. That's the one. So it's a sort of a similar thing, but I use Terraform to bootstrap the infrastructure instead of SAM. Yeah, DynamoDB is a bit weird to work with in my experience. And there isn't much documentation around. Like, I mean, there's documentation, but there isn't much. I haven't really been able to find good examples on the internet. So we've got source, we've got the package. I believe that was controllers, because I do a get node by ID here. So what did we do? Yeah, so we passed this. Okay, so maybe my attribute value is different. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see if this is the problem. Where are we? No, it's the same. So I'm a bit confused as to why. Let's make to see if, oops. Maybe by any chance it's gonna work. No, okay. So let's go back to API and then go run may not go. Okay. Map string this. Does not implement. I'm a bit confused. Is it because I'm not importing types? Let's see. I think I am. No, I am. Mars imports AWS from implicitly required module to add missing requirements. Yeah, I've noticed. Yeah. So this is what I was saying. So this is a type map string types attribute value, and this takes just types attribute value. And I don't know how this turned into how the result here turned into something else. Types attribute value. This is exactly what I have here, so we're good. Funny enough, I'm not doing the AWS string thing here. So maybe we should just do lyric ID. I mean, that's the only difference between. Nope. Cannot use result. Can we do result? Yeah, I think we do, because it's a map. In this case, we can do this, right? But the idea is to sort of get this and then put it here. I am confused. And I remember struggling with this. I don't know how I was able to oh no, you're more than welcome to help. I gladly will take any help I can. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my friend. Key map string. Blah. It's definitely mismatching types, but the real mystery is how does this result, the item, turn into something completely different than this? Or maybe we should cast it. Must be non-nil pointer. Okay, so that's good. Is it gonna crash if I do this? Where is it? If I do log print line, what should I results dot item? And as you can see, it's a map of string to types to attribute value. Let's do that. Let's do go one, may not go. Hang on, this cannot be it. What? Okay. Let me copy this. Let me actually copy this. Ooh, okay. So we'll try that. I think it's ignoring our GitHub AWS. Should I do go mod ID? I don't know. Go mod download. Nope. Let's see, go.mod. So we've got everything we need, right? Config, feature, blah blah blah. Attribute value. So what is going on here? So we create the input, we call the item. What if we don't do this, but we do result? Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, we have to pass in these environment variables. Server port. Oh yeah, but we don't have a. Oh yes, because it's local. So we don't unfortunately have. We don't have a way to. We don't have a way to invoke the function. But the weirdest thing is that in here, this works. Oh, thanks for the follow, man. Thank you, thank you. So result.items in this case, let's see. So result.items in this case is a list of map strings to attribute value. Great. And there's a, okay, so there's definitely a mismatch in types in that case. So I'm tempted. Let's actually try this, right? Let's take this and then let's do map string of this, right? And now let's go run main.go. What? Can I use AV? Variables have map string blah as type. Oh yeah, no, it's not gonna work, because then we'd have to recode and decode and blah blah blah. Absolute Chad move. I just wanted to know, you know? I was just curious like that. But it's definitely type mismatch. Now we know this for a fact. But then if I have to do this, I would have to sort of go here. Oh, there's no package. Okay. Then I would have to recompile the entire Go runtime. So the item is a map string types attribute value. Great. But then, what is it? Unmarshal. So it's an interface, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look for now. Unmarshal with options. Let's do unmarshal. Oh, unmarshal map. Oh, you absolute dongle. It can't possibly be that. It cannot possibly be that. Oh my god. Oh my god. Bloody hell, man. If we make now. Oh, would you look at that? It works. Wow, that was a rabbit hole. Thank you, my man. I'd go to war with you. Let me tell you that. That was something. Hang on, did I use unmarshal? Unmarshal. I was using unmarshal map too. I missed that. God. Okay. Wow. I am definitely too tired. Okay, so change set. Yes, we want to deploy. I think it's half time now, right? Shouldn't it be? Ooh. Well, so look at Chelsea. Nope, not you. What's going on with Chelsea? Raheem Sterling. Oh, that's 1-1 now. Interesting. Actually, I don't have much experience either. I'm transitioning to DevOps. I have done Kubernetes. I've spent the last 6 months or so. Well, I shouldn't say I don't have experience with DevOps. I actually have practical experience sort of setting up CI/CD pipelines, but I've mostly worked with Kubernetes and Docker and sort of provisioning servers. But at the minute, I'm sort of specializing in AWS. So a couple of weeks ago, I passed my first AWS certification, and I hope that I will be able to. Do the solutions architect associate, and then I think I'm going to start applying for jobs in DevOps, sort of late March, you know, early April. I guess I'm looking for more of a cloud engineering position. But I would say for DevOps, definitely learn Linux. At the minute, I'm on the Mac, but I do my work inside of the Linux VM. I would say, what else would I say? Because I'm essentially I'm a Linux sort of nerd, right? So I it was sort of natural for me. But I'd say learn Linux, sort of basic system administration. I would say basic networking concepts. From what I've been able to gather, it's not really mandatory to know how to code, because I did the developer associate AWS exam, and there wasn't any code in it really. So it was mostly about knowing sort of networking fundamentals like DNS, sort of IP tables, stuff like that. Docker is massive too, so containerization, and orchestration with Kubernetes. Kubernetes is a ton of fun. I think a couple of streams ago I deployed my let's see if the DNS is is still up. It's called trimmed.xyz. Yeah, it's a URL shortener that I've written in Go using the Go Fiber thing. Yeah, when the five back. Well, that's essentially me, right? I'm more of a back end type of. I guess full stack, but a very very heavily back end leaning. With I guess experience in Linux, but I'm in no way a network engineer. I just want to put it out there. I'm not a networking expert. It's something I want to get into, definitely, and that's why I believe getting into DevOps will also help me in that regard. Because if you work in a cloud, you're going to have to sort of familiarize yourself with sort of advanced networking concepts, like how VPCs work under the hood and stuff like that. And I guess I did a bit of security too. Like I tried my hand at pen testing. That was a lot of fun. And by the way, you learn a ton about networking doing penetration testing. So I would recommend doing this too. And if not to learn about networking, it's a ton of fun anyway. So you'll never get bored. All right, so presumably now we should have something working. Now I know that we have 60 items in the database, so let's try it. Let's curl. So if we get a random item, it still works. I am the king of New York, Cardi B. Are you a man or are you a woman? And so let's do 32 or 23. Oh, could not pull lyrics from the operation error. Get item. The provided key element does not match the schema. And that's because it's an int, right? Yeah, that's because it's an integer. So it shouldn't be a string, it should be an integer. But then we have to, is it an A to I? I think it's A to I, right? Hang on. Cast string to int and go, I think it's A to I, something like this. I've seen it done before. Stirconf, yeah. Boom, that's the one. All right, so we'll do this. So this is going to be the ID, and that's going to be our lyric ID, like so. All right, and so instead of doing this, we'll do n, and that is going to be our ID. aws.int ID. All right, should we do this then? No? Hang on. Oh, it still takes a string. Okay, so, so it's going to convert it as an int. Okay. In the back end, so we don't have to worry about this. Okay, so we'll do make and sam deploy. And I think for the logging, we can also sort of change the format, and then we can pull whatever sort of data we because as you can see, it gives us the status code, it gives us the request ID. Oh boy. No, I want to deploy the change set. What are you doing? Yes. All right. Well, I think for the CI/CD, we're gonna have to do this tomorrow because it's 10 o'clock at night. All right, so it's all well and done. 23, let's go. Boom. What she order? Fish fillet that she crave. Wow, brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. Well, Avinash, if you are still around, you are a G. You are an absolute G. So we're gonna need to, at some point, maybe create tests. And I wonder how this works because we can't run this locally, as far as I'm aware. Hang on. Oh. Read the docs, people. Sam local. Okay. So, Sam local. Okay. Start API sets up a local endpoint so you can supports hot reloading, so you don't need to restart this service when you make changes to your function. Okay. Wow. All right. Let's try this. Let's get see, blah, and then let's do sam local. What was it again? Start API. Oh, okay, it's using Docker. Oh, okay, it's using Docker to. It's building the image. Okay, it's an emulation image. Supports hot reloading, so you don't need to restart this service when you make changes to your function. I wonder what the difference is between start Lambda and start API. Well, this is taking a bit. I don't have LinkedIn. I don't even have what is it called? I think I left LinkedIn like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. They kept spamming me like for no reason, And I think it was one of those days where I was just so fed up with everything, and I kept receiving emails from LinkedIn. I said, you know what, I'm gonna nuke my account, and I never looked back. I have a Twitter account, I think. Is it still around? Yep. Okay, how do I... Oh my god. That's the one. Well, you see me now, but I used to only communicate with GPG keys and stuff like that, and I used to have my own like email server and stuff like that. I used to go crazy. I had I was the perfect Unix porn normie. I had used ThinkPad running Arch Linux. It was extremely minimal. I had my own compiled version of DWM with my own basic custom patches. Oh boy, those were the days. Okay, let's check in on this. Wow, okay, so I actually have okay, so this is going to be running locally on the VM. So let's curl. But I wonder if it's going to connect to the actual DB though. Let's see. So let's curl localhost. Hang on, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think my blog is running on port 3000, right? CD blog. No, okay, so docker compose didn't return anything, so we'll curl -s http localhost 3000, and so we'll pull all the lyrics. Oh, we could have done this locally. Would you look at that? Boy. All right. Okay, I mean, this is brilliant though, because now you essentially have a completely serverless API locally that you can test against, and what is it? Why does it say build? Oh, yeah, it's free. So let's see. Let's do random. Let's pipe that to JQ. I don't paint pictures, I picture paint. Kodak Black. Okay. Yeah, they do, and it's funny because I was. It's one of the things that sort of made me, I guess, reluctant to try serverless, is because of that reason, that you couldn't really test sort of locally. But I mean, if you can do that now, I mean, this is a game changer, honestly. Because realistically, you could have, like, for most use cases, you could, where you just need an API that's completely separate from your front end, you could have this virtually. I mean, you could have this hosted on AWS for free, really. Because DynamoDB, I think you get 25 gigs of storage for free forever. You get a million Lambda invocation a month for free forever. API gateways free forever. 2xxxxxy. Thanks for the follow. Wow, I mean, we are reaching the goal of what's the goal? Oh, it's 50 followers. What do we get after 50 followers? I don't know. but yeah, no, it's you get API gateway for free. You get a lot of things for free. The only thing I pay for, I think is yeah, Route 53 for 50 cents. So it's not that much. And then we'll have a front end like this, sort of something like JSON placeholder, something very minimal. Probably gonna do this off stream, but to be quite honest, I don't really like the design of this. I kind of want something that pops, so I don't know. And by the way, the only reason why I say I want, when I talk about CSS and front end and I say minimal, is because I can't design to save my life. But yeah, the idea is to sort of have the this API sit on AWS for free, and then we'll have sort of a page like this, right? That essentially gives you the instructions on how to interact with the API, and then we'll upload that as a static site to S3 and the server with CloudFront. And so the front end is going to be a completely different architecture to the back end, and because there is no such, I guess you have CloudFormation, but I don't really, honestly, I don't really like the syntax of CloudFormation. Well, I mean, for anything other than this, right? I wouldn't want to use this for S3 and CloudFront and everything else. So we'll use Terraform to bootstrap that infrastructure. And actually, let's see if because I think I have a bot, now that I think about it. What's it called? FisherBot. So what do? Do I do PDM? Hang on, let me do source PDM install. I want to see if it works. Okay, so can I do Python main.py? What? Oh. No module named Fisher. Okay. How did I used to do this? Is a package and cannot be. Is it may not pie like this? Oh god, I can't remember. I don't think I have a. Well, actually, I do. From FisherBot, like constant import. Oh god. Should I exit the? What did I do? Well, I haven't coded in like 6 months? Well, probably not 6 months, maybe 4 months. So I'm a bit rusty. Python is always a problem. I just want to see if my bot works. Suddenly blessed. Hello, my friend. How are you doing? No module name.env. Okay, well, let's PDM. I think it's PDM vn activate, right? Okay. So presumably I should be able to actually let me do which Python. Yeah, no, it didn't. It did not actually activate the thing. I'm happy to help. Suddenly blessed. Tell me. Module not found. Well, I can't exactly install it, right? I used to do that. Is it Python M? Nah. Fisherbot. That is a package. It cannot be. Oh, do I have a README? I have a README. I usually have a read. Ah, it's empty. Can you program me via? I can't do that, unfortunately. My skills are not that good. But I think I have an API that can do this. What is it called? There is something about the big B word, but Big Sean. What is he? 2 Chainz. I think it's 2 Chainz who said it. But once this API goes live, you'll be able to have fun with it. CD Fisherbot. Oh god. What? Hang on, let me do which Python. Right, so this is the correct Python interpreter. Let me do import Fisherbot. Let me actually do from fisherbot.constants import Fisherbot undesirables. Oh, it's pdm install. I'll be back in a second. All right, so let's do PDM update. Or maybe there's a mismatch in Python versions. I think that's the case. Yeah. Let's see. Let me go. It's pipe project. Now it's PDM. Hang on. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, blah blah blah. But it's not saying which one. Keyboard review, thinking about buying it. Well, this one. You will never go wrong with this one. I've had it. I bought it 3 years ago, I think. 3 years ago, and it has not failed me. I've used it with Linux. I've used it on this Mac. It's basically plug and play. The cool thing I like about this is that it doesn't have the stupid RGB colors. It's just backlit. So and it's USB-C too. It's great. You get replacement caps. So if you use Windows, you've got the Option key and then the Windows key. And the Option command is essentially Alt and Windows key. I think it's you can have the Cherry MX and the other ones. I can't forget. I can't remember which one I got. I think I got the other ones, not the Cherry MX ones. The multi-device connect. What do you mean? You can definitely use this on an iPad too. So anything that essentially works with Bluetooth, you can. And the battery life is surprisingly good, because often people complain about battery life being a problem with keyboards, with wireless keyboards. But this is, wow. I mean, I can go a week without charging it. So yeah, definitely the best purchase I've made in a long time. Let's see, catpdm.toml. So can we switch between two devices with yeah, I think so, because you've got essentially Windows and Mac OS mode, and then you can switch between Bluetooth and let me look at it. Bluetooth and cable, and honestly, I've not had an issue with switching devices. So I've done a couple of times, and again, no issues there. So I can't really complain. Now the question is, okay, so you got this. Oh no, thank you for your help. Thank you for being a soldier today. I wonder why it keeps doing this. Fishing bot. Oh no. Is this? Yeah, it's a package. It cannot be directly executed. So is it in it? How did I used to run this? No. No module named this. Ugh. So if I exit this, oops. Oh, it's not exit, it's deactivate. If I do Google and I do Python. Okay, so pip install.env, let's see. Maybe I messed up somewhere. Oh boy. Is it pip3 install? Actually, let me do Python 3 main. Yeah, no. So it's pip3 install.env. Yeah, this is the problem with Python, is that you always have to be in the correct directory. Is it? It's a Fisher bot. Oh yeah, so now I have to source. So now I can do Python main. Ugh. And so now it's telling me that this package doesn't exist, that this module doesn't exist, but it does, because I've got my init. I think I'm missing something, but my my brain is not cooperating because it's too late. And it's the only project where I've got like an empty README. I think I used to do something like Python-m. Because normally when you do this, right, you can do something like this, right? In the same there, yeah. Yeah, maybe I should do this. So I've got this. Let's see if LSP works. Okay, so I'm using Pyrite, so it's resolving. No, it's actually resolving everything. Am I doing something else? Let's see. What else do I have? Routines. So I'll do that. So it's definitely that I was calling it from somewhere else, because otherwise, because when testing I didn't used to get this error. So I'll go like this. I need to fix, so I've got nothing here, nothing here, and nothing here. All right. So presumably, where am I? Now, oh God. Attempted relative import with no known parent. Oh my God. Really? I mean, clearly. So now if I do Python-m fisherbot.main, no mod. Oh God. Do you know what? I give up. Give up for tonight. I'm gonna check out. I used to have a command that I used to use, but right now my brain is just not in the mood. So we're going to commit this first, right? So what did we do? We did git log. So we'll do git commit m finished get lyrics by ID controller. We'll push this to master. And if we go to our stream.md, so this is done. So I believe tomorrow we'll do the CI/CD pipeline. We'll set up logging. So this is going to be with CloudWatch. Oh yeah, especially the session we did with Go, where I actually attempted. Can't believe I did this. Well, actually, that's a desperate move when you try to modify the actual code, the library code. This is a desperate move. And then we'll do the front end. We'll do, first. I think we'll do it manually first. So we'll do the front end manually. So we'll click around on the console just to check that it works, and then we'll document all the steps, and then we'll essentially recreate them in Terraform, which is good. So there's much to do, really. Oh, we need to set up the domain too on the API. Oh, it's 3 a.m. where you are. Oh, okay. So hang on, where are you from? 3 a.m. That means you have to be halfway across the world, because you're not in America because you're behind. Yeah, India. Yeah, I was gonna say, because you're ahead of us in the time zones. Wow. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for sticking with me. I'm actually gonna end it here, because it's almost 11 here, so I'm also gonna go to sleep. Thank you very much. Thank you for the help. Thank you for just being nice and in the chat. Thank you to everybody else who watched and followed. And I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Cheers.